Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Stone by Stone, an Elizabeth Candew mystery by Marie-Therese Hernon, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. Bailey scrambled to the living room window, and Elizabeth knew that Brenda Arbor had returned. "I want to see him," Bailey shouted. "Mommy, Paul is here. I want to hold that little guy." Brenda Arbor, who didn't even live in the same development. Why did she have to walk that little pug past Elizabeth's house every day after school? Bailey needed all the help with her homework she could get, and Elizabeth paid a tutor top dollar for it. "Come on, beau," Nathan, the tutor, pleaded. "Finish your sight words, and maybe your mom will let you play with the puppy on his way back." "He doesn't come this way back," Bailey protested. "Mrs. Arbor takes him the other way home." Elizabeth had mixed feelings about Mrs. Arbor. On one hand, she admired Brenda and her husband's dedication to protecting Stonesbury from an overzealous developer who had razed 3 neighborhood farms in recent years. On the other, the continual parading of her pug in front of Bailey and her brothers always resulted in an argument that left Elizabeth exhausted every single time. "We are not getting a dog." "All right," she told Bailey. "I have something I want to discuss with Mrs. Arbor. You can have 5 minutes with the dog, but only if it's okay with her. Oh, and with Nathan." Nathan reached for his phone. "No problem. I need to text Chelsea," he said. Chelsea was a sitter Elizabeth hired a couple of years back. Instead of watching the children, she'd killed time posting selfies to social media. Now she was dating Nathan, who did her bidding with the zeal of a borderline nerd dating a girl out of his league. The door slammed as Elizabeth followed Bailey out to the curb. "Hi, Paul," Bailey called. "Mrs. Arbor, can I say hello to Paul?" Panting uncontrollably, the pug yanked Brenda towards Bailey. "Stay on the sidewalk," Elizabeth told the child. To Brenda, she said, "He's strong for such a little dog." "My husband calls him Hercules." Brenda, looking sleek in A-list yoga gear, tightened the leash. The dog's legs scraped at the pavement comically, going nowhere. "But this freakishly hot weather isn't doing him any favors. He requires constant air conditioning." "Air conditioning in March. Can you believe it?" Elizabeth said. "I guess my recycling efforts haven't paid off." Brenda pressed a hand to her damp brow. "Nor mine. Climate change is no joke. We have to make corporations take responsibility." Elizabeth thought for a second about how they might do that. Greta Thunberg had largely been ignored. Then she remembered she had a tutor inside waiting for Bailey, and she still hadn't figured out what to make for dinner. Bailey lavished Paul with hugs and kisses. "Love him so much," she squealed. The dog wriggled away towards Elizabeth, grunting hungrily like a piglet. He stood on his hind legs and scratched furiously at her knees. "He likes you, Elizabeth. He wants you to pet him," Brenda said. "I like him too, but—" She fought an overwhelming urge to scoop him up the little fellow and rub his accordion-skinned head. She'd never seen anything so cute in her life. "Oh, she wanted to squeeze him." She patted him gently between the ears and avoided eye contact. "And your son Travis likes him," Brenda was saying. "Oh, you mean Trevor," Bailey said, reaching over and hugging the pug from behind. "But everyone loves Paul, don't they? Don't they, boy?" "Travis, Trevor," Brenda shrugged. "Paul loves Trevor, too. There's no denying that. I saw it myself last week." She pulled on the leash to get the pug's attention. "Don't you, Polly? Elizabeth, your kids need a dog. They're great for teaching responsibility." "Really, Brenda?" Now Elizabeth would spend another dinner hour listening to her children plead. "Even Mrs. Arbor says we need a dog." "We'd like a dog," Elizabeth said, keeping her eyes averted from Paul. "But I have my hands full with martial arts and piano lessons." So far, Bailey didn't share Trevor's aptitude for music, and her slow progress in reading suggested she had inherited Elizabeth's learning disability. "I have a tutor waiting inside as we speak." Brenda blinked. "A lot of people do all those things and have dogs, too." Why had Elizabeth allowed herself to be subjected to this conversation? Then she remembered the reason. "We don't have time right now for any pets, she continued, but I do have time to sign Bailey up for scouts. I wanted to talk to you about that. My troop, you mean? Yes. Well, it's already March. We're in the middle of cookie season. We end for the year in May, which is coming up fast. I could put you down for September and see what happens, but our troop is packed to the seams. I'll put Bailey on the waiting list. It is late in the year, but we'd be delighted to join now and sell cookies, Elizabeth said. This was a lie. Elizabeth had zero desire to beg customers trailing out of the supercenter to buy junk food infested with fake sugar and fat, but she'd do what it took. However, Bailey needed an activity where she might excel. Her self-image depended on it. According to Gloria, Elizabeth's real estate mentor, self-image determines success or failure in every aspect of life. Brenda shook her head. Would Elizabeth have to beg? It's just that she's a creative and energetic child. And the piano lessons aren't working out, and she knows they're not working out, and she's not doing particularly well at school, and I want her to be good at something. People say great things about your troop, the baking and the visits to the nursing homes, and that amazing garden you built to supply the homeless shelter. I really want Bailey, well, both of my children actually, to be of service to the community. I'd really would love to have her, that shrug again. If only we had room. You have a ton of little girls. I understand that, but I'd be glad to help out. Who knew? Maybe Elizabeth and Brenda would even become friends. Elizabeth needed a new friend, especially after Kathy moved to China 2 years ago. Since then, Elizabeth had made only one friend, Lucas, the guy who accompanied her when she played the organ at church. But that wasn't the same thing, was it? Not to change the subject, Brenda said. She had a beautiful nose, Elizabeth noticed, and her black hair gleamed blue under the unseasonably warm sun. But you're aware of the proposal to raze the farmland along the river? Oh, not another farm, Bailey said, squeezing Ball's head. The pug wound his neck around her arm happily, knocking her onto the sidewalk. I picked up on some murmurings. Arnie Sprintenratt? Elizabeth asked. Who else? But he already has another commercial project on Federal Avenue. How much farmland did he raise for that one? You're talking about Sutton Village? Elizabeth rolled her eyes. Sutton Village. I'm surprised he didn't just call it Sutton Place. Brenda didn't seem to get the reference. Just because Elizabeth once had grandparents in New York didn't mean everyone did. Sutton whatever, Brenda said. Construction is almost done, so he's on to the next thing. The rumor is he has a boatload of other proposals on the drawing board. It's never enough. The man is destroying this town, brick by brick, stone by stone. Keep building, jackass. He has his lawyer selling this latest project to the Planning and Zoning Board tonight. We need everyone who cares about this town to raise hell at City Hall. Can I count on you? A fruitless meeting on the weeknight would interfere with Elizabeth's plans to refinish chairs she found at a tag sale. But she had to try to stop this fool from gobbling up her once quaint New England town. In addition to the eradication of farmland, 4 Revolutionary-era buildings had mysteriously burned down in recent years. The high-rises that replaced them looked like buck-toothed third-graders in a kindergarten class.